In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings be upon you. My name is Huda, and I was only 11 years old when I arrived in Saudi Arabia with my mother. My father had passed away in an accident 2 years ago, and after struggling for months in Pakistan, my mother finally decided to accept the invitation of her brother-in-law, who was living and working in Riyadh. He was kind enough to sponsor us and promised my mother a decent job as a housemaid, while I could possibly be enrolled in a local school. But nothing turned out as we expected. We landed in Riyadh on a quiet evening, and the airport atmosphere felt alien to me. I clung to my mother tightly, still grieving the absence of my father and anxious about this new land. Her brother-in-law, Uncle Faisal, received us warmly, though I noticed his eyes lingered a little too long on me. My mother, overwhelmed with emotion and gratitude, didn't notice, but my heart felt a subtle discomfort. He lived in a spacious villa in a silent neighborhood. He had a wife, but she was bedridden from a long illness and rarely seen outside her room. There were no children in the house. The environment was quiet, too quiet. That silence hid secrets I was yet to uncover. My mother started working in the house, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the madam, and I was often left in the living room with books or TV. One evening, after a week of staying there, Uncle Faisal called me into the garden where he was drinking tea. My mother was inside with the madam. He said softly, "Huda, do you want to help your mother?" I nodded immediately. I missed my father dearly and wanted to ease my mother's burden. He smiled strangely and said, "I have a good friend, a very powerful man in this city. He needs a girl to help him once a month, just for a day. He is religious and noble. You'll be safe, and you'll be paid very well, maybe more than what your mother earns in a month." I didn't understand. "What will I do there?" I asked innocently. He looked away and said, "Just be polite. Sit with him. Talk. That's it." I wasn't sure, but I trusted my uncle. When I told my mother, she was hesitant at first, but the mention of a good man and noble work soothed her. That weekend, a black car came to pick me up. The black car that arrived was luxurious, shining like something out of a movie. A quiet man in a white thobe opened the door for me. My mother fixed my scarf and kissed my forehead gently. "Be respectful, Huda. You're representing us," she whispered. I nodded, still unsure why I was going, but determined to help. The ride was silent. I looked outside at the strange city passing me by. The buildings were tall, and the streets were clean. But something about the silence inside the car made me anxious. We arrived at a massive villa, far larger than my uncle's. The gate opened without a word. As I stepped inside, I saw an elderly man sitting on a white couch in the grand hall. He wore a gold-trimmed robe, and his long white beard gave him the air of a scholar. But his eyes, those eyes studied me too deeply. "Assalamu alaikum," I said quietly. "Wa alaikum assalam, my daughter," he replied with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Sit." A maid came with juice and dates. I sat nervously and took a sip. The man asked me about my name, my country, and my dreams. I told him I wanted to become a teacher. He nodded and said, "Very noble, very pure." He then waved toward the stairs. "Come, I will show you the prayer room." The room upstairs was beautiful. Calligraphy on the walls, soft carpets, shelves filled with Qurans. "You see," he said, "this is where I spend most of my time. But I get lonely. I need someone to talk to, someone young, who brings light." I didn't understand what he meant. "Every month," he continued, "you will come here. I will give you gifts. You will recite something. Maybe sit with me while I drink tea. Maybe play a game. you will make an old man happy." He handed me an envelope, 500 rials. My heart skipped. That was more than my father ever earned in a week. I returned home in the same black car. My mother asked nervously, "What did you do?" I said, "I talked to him. That's all." And it was the truth. She hugged me tightly and cried silently. "I wish I could protect you from everything," she whispered, not knowing what she feared. Every month, like clockwork, the car came. Each time, I was given a new dress to wear. It started with prayer and tea, but over time, his questions changed. "What do you know about love? Do you like your body? Do you want to learn how women become women?" I was uncomfortable, but confused. He never touched me. Not at first. Just long talks, too close. A hand resting a second too long on my shoulder. Compliments that made my stomach twist. The gifts increased. Toys, gold earrings, perfume. One day, he gave me a mobile phone. "Only for me," he said. "Don't tell your mother." That night, I cried. Something inside me said, this was not right. The next month, I told my mother I didn't want to go. She looked shocked. "But Huda, we are surviving because of this. Your uncle says it's a blessing." My uncle returned from work that night, heard me refuse, and slapped me hard. "You are a child. What do you know?" he screamed. My mother begged me silently with her eyes. I understood. We were trapped. I went again. But now I was quiet. I didn't answer the man's questions. I kept my hands in my lap and lowered my gaze. He grew irritated. "You used to smile," he said. I stayed silent. Then he said something chilling. "You are ready now. Next month, you will stay overnight." When I returned home, I didn't speak for 2 days. I knew what he meant. I was being prepared for something horrible. My mother noticed my silence. At night, she hugged me. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I thought you were safe." I finally told her everything. Every word. Every look. Every time he made me feel dirty without touching me. She broke. She screamed and cried and held me close. In the morning, she tried to confront my uncle. He laughed. "Do you think you can survive without us? He is powerful. You will be thrown back to Pakistan, penniless." That day, my mother made a decision. She packed our bags and left the house while my uncle was at work. We stayed in a shelter run by an old Bangladeshi woman my mother had once helped in the hospital. She gave us space, silence, and safety. A few days later, we approached a local Pakistani imam who secretly connected us with a Pakistani journalist. When I told him everything, the man, the gifts, the threats, he sat in silence, trembling. He said, "I've heard whispers of this before, but no girl ever spoke." With help, we recorded my testimony, but the video was never published. "It's too dangerous," the journalist said, "but I promise, I'll use this to protect others." Eventually, we returned to Pakistan. I never forgot what happened. I never forgot the fear, the shame, or the tears in my mother's eyes. But I also never forgot the courage she showed the day we ran. Years later, I learned the horrifying truth. It was not just me. There was a network. Wealthy men who used their power to train young girls under the guise of care, education, or blessings. These girls were from poor immigrant families. Some were local orphans, some were even boys. The visits were ritualized. Once a month, one night, then silence. The men used religious language to mask their crimes. They claimed spiritual loneliness. They spoke of purity. But what they did was abuse, wrapped in silk and gold. Saudi Arabia, for all its wealth, hid dark secrets in its palaces. Secrets that victims were too scared to reveal. Those who tried were deported, silenced, or worse. I now work for a charity that supports immigrant families and child victims of trafficking. Every time I hear a girl say, "He said I was special," I hold her hand and say, "So did he." This is not just a story. It's a mirror. Behind every golden gate, there can be suffering. Behind every smile, a wound. And behind every ritual, a secret. May Allah protect every daughter, every innocent child, and every heart that seeks only to help its family.